What's up? It is me, Angie Lee. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome if you're new here. I want to get into a topic about therapy and my history with therapy. Therapy and fixing long-term deep-rooted issues is not a quick fix. It's not something that happens quickly. I first started counseling in school when I was 9 years old. It was the school that put me into counseling, and they told my parents to just keep doing what I was doing. They didn't have any idea what was wrong, and I didn't tell anybody. I was put on antidepressants, and I was on them from the age of 9 to 15 years old. When I was 15, I went off the antidepressants. I started drinking alcohol, started smoking marijuana. Then by the time I was 17, I was getting into harder drugs, cocaine, methamphetamines, things like that. Back then, I didn't care. I didn't care about my body. I didn't care to keep living. So it was kind of like a slow down. When I was 25 and I was pregnant with my son is when I first tried to go get help. I kept trying to explain to them my history. With antidepressants and depression, and they kept saying that I had postpartum depression, and they gave me medication that really messed with my head. So I went off that. I didn't drink, I had already quit doing drugs long before then. I like the hard drugs. I quit drinking and quit smoking marijuana throughout my pregnancy. When my son was born, I started drinking a little bit. Yes, I did. I started drinking just a little bit every, like social occasions. And I started smoking marijuana again. And then, as he got a little bit older, and he wasn't a baby so much anymore, and he didn't really need me as much, I was drinking more and more. When I was 32, so my son was 7 by then, I completely quit drinking. And I knew I had to leave. By then it was like I was fully leaving my ex-husband. That's a whole story. But I was quitting drinking, and I knew that I had to go for help. And I knew, because at that time I was having a full mental breakdown. If it wasn't for my son, I would have admitted myself into the hospital at that time. It was a very scary time for me, but I couldn't do that because of my ex-husband, and I didn't want my son to get taken to India and left with his family and me never see him again, because my ex-husband didn't care to take care of him, and if he felt that I wasn't capable, that's exactly what he would have done. So I went for help. I quit drinking right away, and I knew that the help that I needed to go right to the very, very, very beginning, right to childhood, right from the start of it. And that was starting to talk about the childhood sexual abuse that I endured as a child from the age of 7 to 15. So it was a very long time, and it was very hard work talking about it. But at first, because when you try to get into therapy, it's it's a very long waiting list. Like, it's not something that you can just, oh, I need therapy, and boom, you're in. You're in a long, long waiting list, especially when you need specialized therapy. And I was put into, I was put on antidepressants. I quit drinking, and I started doing courses to help improve myself. And I took a bunch of courses through the Alcoholics Anonymous program, and I also took some anxiety to calm courses, moving on with chronic pain, happiness basics. I was also an outpatient at the hospital, and I was taking courses on self-love and learning that I wasn't alone in my healing. In that time, I also started to use the tool of the online Trauma Recovery University that was run by Athena Moberg and Bobby Parrish. And Bobby Parrish is a specialized therapist. And she started with Athena with the program, and now it's just Athena. She's not a therapist, but she is a life coach and specializes in childhood sexual abuse and early childhood trauma things. And they have all these pages of all their lessons available on their website. Now I believe Athena goes through #CPTSD chat. So things have changed a little bit since I was like really immersed into this therapy. As you do therapy, things change, and you don't immerse yourself into everything as much, because then you're just dwelling on it. There is times where I look through my books and things and look up, things that I need to deal with in my life at the time. I've also read so many books, and here's the list of the books that I can remember that I've read. There's more, but these are the ones that I can remember. So, I did all that waiting for therapy through the specialized program, the Sexual Assault Center in the city here. So then I started specialized therapy through the Sexual Assault Center, and they normally, because there's such a highly needed therapy and highly needed programs, there's a limit of 15 sessions per person. And they actually extended mine to 20 sessions to try to help me get through things, and I was making really good progress. So she didn't really want to, she didn't want to just drop me when I was doing really well and making a lot of progress, because when I quit drinking, it was very much just let everybody tell me what to do. I let everybody decide what was best for me. I had also went to a place called Eastlink, and they deal with addictions counseling, and I also saw the psychiatrist through there. He was completely useless, and I never went back to him. And then after a while, in another waiting list, there was the Sexual Assault Center had a 9-week group therapy session. So there was a dozen of us in the group, and then 2 therapists that ran the group. 2 psychologists, actually. That was run through psychologists. Let me see. Then I went to grief therapy. I've lost a lot of people in my life to suicide. I have a video on my channel called Stories of Suicide if you want to learn about suicide and my life. And I had a lot of miscarriages as well, so I went to grief therapy for those things. Then I was on another waiting list for another therapist through that specialized in childhood sexual trauma and EMDR, and she is the therapist that I have been seeing ever since. I also seeked out, is that the right word, an art therapist through that same program. And worked with an art therapist for a little while. And I have, this book is my step 4 of my Alcoholics Anonymous program, where I made a searching and moral inventory of myself. And yeah, this is a hard book. I've done it a couple of times actually, because that's something that you learn in AA, is that it never ends. It's a continuous process. You can stop going to the meetings, you can stop drinking, but you have to keep doing the work. And that's what it's about. It works if you work it. This book, it is full of memories, and it starts from the beginning and goes up. And this book really helped me to really form my memories kind of in a more linear way, because when you go through a lot of trauma in your life, things get blocked and things get, moved, and time's not really linear. Like, you can remember things, but you don't necessarily remember the whens and the hows of everything. Like, you don't remember things in chronological order. So, and it's hard to remember things because you're really trying so hard to forget that, you're trying so hard to forget the bad that you end up forgetting it all. So I ended up doing this book up, and I basically got a lot of pictures, and it's got, little things like postcards and letters from friends and pictures from friends, poems that I wrote, and things that I, all over the years, and every paper form thing that I still have from over the years, and that's what is in this book. There's even a piece of a tree from it was the second house I ever lived in. And it was the house that I basically grew up in, because I don't remember the first house, and that second house I lived in from the time I was 5 till I was 14. So yeah, I've got a lot of memories there, but they're, yeah. So through therapy, a good therapist, so many people keep saying that I need a different therapist or a new therapist or whatever, that she's not doing a good job. And honestly, that's extremely insulting to somebody as highly professional as she is. She's one of the top in her field in this area. So, that's pretty insulting to her. I won't tell her people are saying this, though. The point behind therapy is to not get you to conform to what society thinks that you should be. It is to get you to be comfortable and okay with who you are. In therapy, I've learned to be comfortable and okay with who I am. Through the majority of my life, I didn't feel comfortable and okay with myself. I felt very self-conscious. I felt very alien and alone. I felt like the things that I felt and thought were my own. And through all the therapy that I've been through and all the programs that I've been through, I found out that everybody feels like so many people feel this way. And it's normal. I spent 12 years with a man who made me feel crazy. So it took a long time for the doctors to assure me that I'm not crazy. I'm on an antidepressant. I'm on marijuana, which is medical, which helps with both my depression, anxiety, and also pain. Other than that, I'm on asthma medication, thyroid medication, pain medication. I think I said that one. A new medication that we're trying out from a specialist that I will discuss later on if we find out that that is for sure needed. And when the world changed and everything kind of went crazy here, I reached out to my doctor for some Ativan, which I took at the beginning of all of this, and I haven't taken it in a couple of months now. So there are times where I still get, uptight and tense and emotional and lose myself, but I'm human, and life is about learning. It's all about learning, and I am constantly learning, continuously learning. And part of the reason why I get so vicious, if you're familiar with EMDR therapy at all, you can instill people, characters, feelings, emotions into you. And one of my protectors, actually my protector that was instilled into me through EMDR, and my therapist knew exactly who she was and what she was all about, was Frankie Doyle from Wentworth. So I'm going to put in a little bit of a clip here of Frankie.
I'm Frankie.
When you're locked up in here, it's pretty easy to feel forgotten. Like you're nothing. Like you're no one.
anyone got a problem with that?
You know what they do to laggers, Red?
Some of the stuff Legs what you did for me yesterday.
Talk to me again and I'll break your jaw. How are you going to help me? You're part of the problem.
My head is a jungle, jungle. My head is a jungle, jungle. My head is a jungle, jungle. Oh.
So, you know, I've been working on myself for a few years now. Working on myself is a continuous progress. It's all about working on the mental health, and that's where the weight loss comes in, and that's what my whole message to my channel is about. And people like to take advantage of that with me, so it is what it is. Some people are understanding and some people just aren't, and some people just have too much time on their hands. But anyways, that's, I guess, it. And if you have any questions for me, feel free to leave them down below. Thanks for watching. Bye.